Brought to you by Penguin.
The Lost Boy, written and read by me, Duncan Staff. Freedom and power. Power above all. Fyodor Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment, 1866. Prologue to the third edition. It was a moment I had thought would never come. And now it was here, I almost wished it hadn't. It was November 2023. I was sitting in a solicitor's office above Paddy Power in Hyde. Outside, a thin drizzle smeared the market square a slick grey. A solitary shopper shuffled, eyes down on the treacherous pavement, towards the shelter of the concrete shopping centre. Her back was turned to the towering red-brick Victorian police station and courthouse, the building where Myra Hindley and Ian Brady were arrested, charged, and first stood trial for the Moors murders. The Moors murders has dominated my professional life and invaded my personal one. I knew Myra Hindley and was unsuccessfully sued by Ian Brady. You do not stand next to people like them and escape completely unscathed. They shift your centre of gravity, where you stand in relation to the rest of the world. I had avoided the case for a decade, and yet I had been unable to fully let go, my task unfinished. There were too many unanswered questions. The case remained open. There was still a child missing, Keith Bennett. That is why I stayed, sitting, waiting. The lawyer on the other side of the desk, Tony Carter, eyed me over the rim of a Top Cat mug, a present from the girls in the office. There was a clump of heels crossing old carpet. A secretary pushed the door open behind me and dumped a box on the desk. She repeated the journey 3 times. "There you go," said Tony. "The original Moors murders case files. They've been in the loft ever since my firm took over Brady and Hindley's lawyers." Robert Fitzpatrick, the Moors murderer's solicitor, did much the same job as the man opposite me. Conveyancing, wills, divorce, the odd bit of crime. Then he got a call from the police station across the market square. "We've got a young woman here, typist, in a bit of bother. Needs a brief. Of course, what's her name? Myra Hindley. I'll be right over." Less than 10 years later, he was dead. Never quite the same man again. I looked at Tony. "May I?" He waved a pinstriped arm at the boxes, nodded. I pulled the lid off the one closest to me. I reached inside and extracted a thick file of yellow documents. They were heavy, bound with ribbon. The smell of ancient dust filled the room. As I opened the file, a fine confetti of paper scraps fell from between the pages and showered the desk. I picked one up, peered at it, and recognized Myra Hindley's looping handwriting. It was a message to her solicitor during cross-examination 57 years ago. Brady's tight scrawl was there too, a record of the Moors murderer's thoughts over the days and weeks of the trial, revealing their state of mind, their strategizing, their lies. I leafed through the files. There were transcripts of every moment of proceedings, the only known copy in existence. I scanned them. It was like being in the room as Brady was cross-examined, and Hindley backed him up. I reached into another box, opened a file, and recoiled. It was full of trial exhibits, evidence that lawyers and jurors had to look at to decide between the guilt and innocence of the accused. It cannot have taken them long. There were pornographic images of Leslie Ann Downey, taken in the minutes before she was raped and strangled. Pictures of children in graves, post-mortem shots, explicit shots of Hindley and Brady having sex in homemade masks. I'd never seen the material.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?